At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush?
Yeah, I'm almost done with that.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to this week's One Nation Radio. It is January 21st. James, what's going on, man?
All hell's broken loose. Like, you are in the process of avoiding a snowstorm, apparently, and then, like, my computer is not working, and, like, once again, shoot to the roots of One Nation Radio, we have nigger rigged just to make it work. I am, instead of the normal setup where I have Audacity run on the laptop, I have the Twitch run on my phone. I can see the Twitch chat from my phone on the app, and we just do the show that way. It is now been reversed. You are on a call right now from Discord. You have recorded. You are now screen caught the Discord for the stream, and I'm watching the stream chat for Twitch on the laptop. That's too raggedy to fucking record anything, but can capture in 4K the stream. Mind fuck, makes no sense, but we're here. Yeah, man. So, what's going on, YGB Rich?
Just trying to figure out how we gonna proceed. I compared. I was in the pre-show. I was like, we are much like Shota Umino the night after losing in the Tokyo Dome. We have to walk our ass out here for New Year's Dash and proceed with knowing that we done lost. Something out here. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I heard that part. Well, yeah. The inauguration. I really don't have much of the inauguration to get quite honest with you.
I have nothing.
I really don't. I stayed away from it. I didn't watch it. I saw clips of some black dude was like talking like a pastor or something like that, and basically did like quotes from MLK in regards to Trump being inaugurated. One thing I did see Elon Musk start, do the Hell Sig twice.
Always love to see that,
It's the most brazen thing the Trump administration has done so far, right?
Get ready for tomorrow. They might just top it, and they might just keep doing it every day after that. Yeah,
that is true. I couldn't believe people were trying to defend this. I saw someone put up a side-by-side picture or side-by-side video of Kamala Harris, like put her arm out like this, like straight out, like to like basically like a 90-degree, like sticking her arm. Like imagine if your arm is straight out and then you bend your elbow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like at like a 45-degree angle and compare that to. I was like, nah. How do you even?
I'm not being gaslit. I'm not being gaslit by these people.
right. And it was so bad. It was like not even if you like took the better one would be like if you took a picture
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
tried to
yeah.
catch her with an arm extended. It was so bad that like from the angle of that video, you couldn't find a frame where she actually even got her arm bent to, or straight out to even do that. I was like, man, this is like pathetic. It was really pathetic. And I just I don't know, man. Like I've been kind of caught up in my own like day to day life. Ever since the election, like I have completely detached from all the stuff that's going on. It like aside from honestly like the wildfires, I'm not caught up on any national news. I just do not care. I just don't care. It is a form of detachment. It is a form of what do you call it? Just self care. It's like I'm not going to get myself into this right now. It's not for the best for me personally, and it's probably not going to be the best for me for the next 4 years. But um, you know, I that's kind of where we are. Like you talked about this after the after he Trump won the election. Is like I'm not going to do to myself what I did to myself during the first one, where I'm just doom scrolling everything and internal and catching up, and just getting bombarded with all the terrible stuff and things going on. It's like I'm sure the major stuff will get to me, but like I'm not going to seek it out because like it's exhausting and it wasn't healthy. And it didn't, and me, being able to catalog all that stuff from week to week, it didn't, it did make me a better person for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a cap on that kind of stuff you just take in. And I think there's a cost to it. So yeah, I'm just going to stay, I'm going to be detached from it. Obviously the big things I'll hear about because it'll get to me.
Howard Bryant had a book that I actually bought years ago called Full Dissident, and it's like kind of like detaching yourself from the political experience, and kind of it's a big long book. I still haven't finished it from all those years ago, but I think
what year did you write it?
I was living in Dunedin when I bought it. I know that.
Okay.
And it's like, probably a perfect time to dive back into it just to try to get some clarity on how I feel about, things. I'm not giving in to the energy. I'm not, getting in these flame wars, and it just feels like something I don't want any part of, really. I just don't want to think about it. Like, I don't want to participate in it feels like, part of me feels like I don't even want to participate in the resistance, but I'm like, well, who am I to be different than the people that came before me? Because like, if we look at all the creatives that have come before us, and people that were actors and activists and stuff like that, they didn't tuck their tails and like decide to just not engage with the stuff. Like, some of the best art that got people through that stuff was made during those eerily similar times that it feels like we're about to go through.
Right.
So part of me is like, man, I feel like I got to open up to some of it, but it's like I'm caught between do I want to be this person that wants to scribe the times? Do I want to participate in what feels like a revolution? Is a revolution actually happening, possible? Is there art to be created off of this? Is there music that I'm able to basically do without telling people to lose hope, essentially? Like that, it's really difficult how I see it. And I want to circle that back in to the first thing I had written down was it was MLK Day yesterday, obviously. Same day as inauguration. Talk about also same day as Robert E. Lee Day in some states.
Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah. And I visited the MLK Museum with my mom, my wife, and one of my mom's good friends, T, for the first time ever. And I saw Martin Luther King's house, that he grew up in. And, it's in Atlanta on Auburn Ave. There's a museum directly around there. Like, there's like the museum, and just up the street is his house. And then there's a fire academy there. And then Ebenezer Baptist Church is like on the next block. So it's all right there. And when I went through, the MLK Day museums and stuff, I was walking through, and this is like weeks after the election, right? So I'm walking in there, and I'm just reading everything and seeing everything and just getting sad, and just like, I'm like, all right, like part of me was feeling like, well, what did everybody's in here kind of looking at this information, not really too vocal with each other. Everybody seems like they're kind of in their own worlds per se. Everyone was there. I don't know what they had going on politically or anything like that, but I know at least how it felt was like everybody was just like looking around, like searching for the answer within this building or whatever. And it's like, I felt like I was about this close from what felt like standing on a stool and be like, the answer's not in here. Like, that's how I was feeling. I was feeling like, I was like, and it's not all going to sound perfect right now. I'm almost like, well, what did he really accomplish? Like, and that's not to say the work of Martin Luther King wasn't important. It wasn't, but it was just like, nothing, like, it might as well be the same. It might as, like, in so many ways it is. And, obviously there's not, there's not the sit-ins, there's not,
there's less lynchings.
Yeah, there's less of that stuff, but they're different now. Like, they might just shoot you in the street. They might just sing it.
They were doing that back then too. But like I'm saying, like, just public displays of like, hey, let's grab niggers and string them up in this what do you call it? The city square. Like that's a lot less of that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and like I said, I don't want to make it seem like I'm like down on like Dr. King or anything, but it was like, yo, by the time I got out there and I got to the pool side where, him and Coretta are buried forever or whatever, and it's a public monument, and there's a everlasting flame that's burning feet away from it, and it's like, it was like a reminder, and it's like, yo, the fight always continues or whatever. And I was just like, this guy did all this stuff by 39 years old, and then it was like people have learned next to nothing, I feel like, from him. And they have confused his words. They have misappropriated.
Purposely.
They have misappropriated the words on purpose.
Purposely. Mm-hmm.
And they have, he has left his legacy to where it's like, I wish I could be as impactful as Martin Luther King was, but you never can. Like, there's no way. It's like, damn, if he was the one that they decided to shoot, what chance do the rest of us have? Like, and it was really sobering, like, as an experience, like going to the museum, and it's like there's like 3 or 4 different rooms or whatever, and they're big or whatever. And then, there's a part in the middle where you could walk all the way up, and you're next to these statues or whatever. And it's just like, fuck. And then like there's a part in it with Trump signing like a Martin Luther King Day declaration or something from like 2017, and it's like in its own like little section inside like the Trump or the Jimmy Carter and MLK room. I'm like, well, why is that guy like getting space in this thing? And then I'm just like, I can't believe like they did this. And I'm like, well, they probably got some type of funding here to, well, you gotta display this. And feels like there was something exchanged, and it all just felt sickening. And then to think about yesterday being Martin Luther King Day, and I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm like, yeah, I would love to celebrate Martin Luther King Day. It's cold as hell here, bro. It's 20-something degrees. I ain't going nowhere. I would have loved to go to, like, if I go to a parade or something like that. Like, nah, bro. Too much. It's frigid temperatures out here. So, why? Because of probably global warming. That's why.
Yeah.
So, we're fucked all the way around, it feels like. And I'm sorry, this is depressing. I know. But.
And we do this every year, too.
Yeah. So, like, I would love to, so I am looking at B Smooth. He teaches this in his AAH course, the Holiday King and the Radical King. I'm glad you brought that up because, the Martin Luther King, I wrote this on my YouTube channel. I was like, he was 39 years old when he died, right? And he was a guy that was 39 years old with views that were rapidly evolving, I would say. And
yeah,
he was starting to deal with younger people coming in the movement that were a little more radical, that had crazy ideas, and it was like Dr. King was about to get left behind if he didn't, start adapting into the audience per se. And everything that, all indications were he was going to figure it out because he was a genius, right? And I would have loved to continue hearing those ideas because he had him like worked up, like, the beginning of the decade, the I Have a Dream stuff was hopeful and everything like that. By the time, he's almost getting shot, he's a lot more kind of hollow at this. He's like, I might not make it there with you. Like before, he was talking about dreams and hope and positivity and loving the enemy and all that stuff. That stuff was different. Yeah. And like, where was it gonna go? We'll never know. And every Martin Luther King Day, I feel like I learn a little bit something else, or my stance kind of changes on it just slightly, or I add something in, and it's just like I just want people to think about when MLK Day comes. Just think about what you can contribute to the world, and then learn what other people are trying to take from you.
And I guess you question why they're trying to take that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to add. Every year I get more cynical. So that I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I don't really have much to add.
So next on this list of things, let's after talking about MLK, let's talk about Britt Baker here.
That's one of the most insane transitions we've ever had in the show.
I was gonna say something a lot more crazy right there, but I just decided to use her name.
Message it to me.
Yeah. Hold on one sec, y'all. But Britt Baker was in the news this morning and then this afternoon as two different reports came out. One of them from Wade Keller and the other one from F4W. And I think it says she was in direct contact, or I don't know if it was her. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't mess this up. Hold on. Hope everybody gets their merch, and everything like that while I pull this report. Lots of ops for the doctor. It has been kind of a what seems to be a long time coming for some of this stuff to start dropping. We did a segment, James, on the FOH draft where we kind of cracked it.
Oh, yes, we did.
Where we kind of cracked it open on the doctor a little bit, and
yeah.
At that point, it was like, yeah, dog, like we gotta think about what's going on here. And, here we go. So, So basically, Wade Keller, the PW Torch, reported that Britt might be done with AEW, explaining that some people within the company believe she is in the same boat as others who aren't being used. James, have you heard of the new phrase that is sweeping the internet streets that was given to us by Eric Bischoff?
No, what is it?
Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yo.
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
Then I saw people quickly like go to call it Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, yes.
I was like, what? It's always a proxy war. It's always a war on this fucking app. Just
so Britt might be in Guantanamo Bay apparently, and he mentioned that Britt's frustrated and TK isn't making any effort to put her back on TV. The belief is that Tony Khan is fed up enough that he's not using her, and should that change, she will get the call. From there, they went to Wrestling Observer Radio, and Dave admitted there was some truth to the reports, but felt they had been exaggerated. He said his basic impression of the story is that there's a kernel of truth to it, but some of it got blown out of proportion. Alvarez then, went deeper. He said what happens is he thinks that Wade Keller on one of his shows was talking about it, and it was one of those things where somebody wrote about what they heard him say, and then another site took that story and wrote a more dramatic headline, and then another site took that story and wrote an even more dramatic headline, and then I'm seeing these headlines, Britt Baker is done with AEW, Tony Khan will no longer use her, and he was like, what's happening here? Alvarez went on. He said, obviously, Britt's polarizing. She does have her share of detractors. He does say the idea that she's universally disliked in AEW isn't accurate. He said Britt's polarizing. There are people that don't like Britt. The idea that nobody in the locker room likes Britt is absolutely not true. I talked to a lot of people today, and at the end of the day, she's just not being used right now, and most people don't know why. Ultimately, it's Tony's decision on whether she's going to be used or not, and anybody I talked to, and it's a lot of people that talk to Tony, nobody said she's not coming back. It's not like she's never going to be used again. Her contract goes for quite a while. It's just she's not being used right now, and that's what the story is. Obviously, Britt hasn't really said anything. I think she liked a couple of tweets that people were putting out, but I don't know how accurate that is because people fake likes of tweets all the time.
I'm surprised she hasn't come out here and start like clipping up like matches. Spots.
Why would she do that? She got to put why wouldn't she just put the promos on there or something?
No, I was talking about like after Wembley when she was doing that shit.
Yeah,
like man, that was. I'm sorry. This is welcome to the real world, sucker. This ain't you. You know who that fools? That fool Diva stands. That don't fool us. We don't want to see Darvin Ham highlights. Nigga. We want to see Darvin Ham games. Oh, he was a bitch warmer? Okay.
Hey.
So
Britt came out there and was like, I know you seen these screens I was setting, nigga. Like, I know you seen these screens I was setting.
Oh, my God. Were you not entertained, my nigga? Oh, man. Yeah, man.
All right, man.
It was nasty work. She was really trying to defend that shitty-ass match.
Yeah.
She really tried to defend that. She was like, all right. And then the second Mercedes got away from her. Mercedes went out there the back half of that year and started reaching back and hitting 90, 95, 97s on the radar.
Yeah, so like...
Nah, man, it's you. You the problem.
So, my man Ibu was talking about it on his review show yesterday, and he actually gave me a shout-out during the live when I was in the comments because we both ultimately landed on the same place from talking to people within, the business and kind of knowing what's kind of shaking with her. Like, I do not anticipate on Britt Baker leaving AEW, and I would, frankly, I would be shocked if that ever happened. Not saying that her contract can't expire and she can choose to go somewhere else. I don't think you're going to be seeing AEW be like, yeah, you're done. You're basically out of here or fired or, any type of the sensationalism that you saw in that. I don't I don't.
Yeah, same.
I don't think like if they can help it, Britt Baker will be in AEW until otherwise.
Right. They'd rather freeze her out than let her just walk. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you think about it. Britt Baker has been around 2019, cross paths with a lot of people, I'd imagine. I'd imagine that you do not want to put it like this. I feel like the Britt Baker shoot interviews would be a disaster in all directions. I want no parts of it, and I would imagine that the powers that be do not want that either, because when you're somebody that's been there for that long, like and who knows what her HR file looks like. I don't know. I'm just saying there's just a lot of opportunity there for, craziness. From a wrestling standpoint, I think Britt is kind of maxed out here. Like, I think she's kind of reached the heights that she was going to reach. I think she potentially has value somewhere, maybe in a unit with someone like Deonna Purrazzo, who's a friend of hers, or something like that, like a trio or something like that. But it's just not enough spots, it feels like. As far as the women's division has come talent-wise, that's not necessarily reflected on spots on the show, the pay-per-views, anything like that. It's even more it's triple competitive in the women's division. And, we've always heard Britt has been very territorial about her position, but what does she think her position is now?
What do I think she thinks it is?
Yeah.
I think she still thinks she's the ace. I think she still thinks it's her show, and I got some news for her. It ain't. There is a TBS champion that's out here with two other titles with three other belts, and that's what it is. So like I'll put it like this, right? That battle royal, that casino, was it Casino Battle Royal? What was Battle Royal called? That was on Dynamite.
Casino Gauntlet.
The Casino Gauntlet, right? First person that came out was Chris Statlander. Second person came out, Jamie Hayter. Third person that came out was Megan Bain. Fourth person came out was Julia Hart. Fifth person that came out was Willow Nightingale. Of those five, four of them are way better pro wrestlers in the ring.
And then you
We're done.
And then you add Tony, and then you add Mercedes, and then it's like,
oh, I forgot that Tony Storm, the person that won tournament, is also another person that's like surpassed her as a star in the company, and also like is a way better pro wrestler.
And then there's Mariah May, who's actually the champion. So like,
right,
and then there's someone like Harley Cameron who has like tons of charisma.
I'm not even going to get into the Harley Cameron stuff. I'm not even going to get into the people that we find value. There's plenty of people that found value in AEW in the women's division, right? Like the main thing is like they have in the last year, they have moved beyond the need to have to put her on TV. So her value, for whatever she thinks it is, like last year's price, like ain't this year's price. And I mean in the bad way. It's going down. It ain't going up. It ain't like the whole Fat Joe thing of like the price of brick going up. No, the price of brick's going drastically down. Like that shit has been cut.
Stepped on.
Yeah. Stepped on by forces. So it's you're in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
It's been stepped on by Polo Goose.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's not the same thing at all.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate to hear whatever, but I think the last time we saw her, she was doing that nobody cares thing to Serena Deeb. I wonder if that's the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know.
I mean, did we talk about that when that happened? I think I made some passing comment about it.
I don't know if we did, just because of the Christmas breaks, and I don't know exactly when that show was.
Mm-hmm. But I just remember being like, everyone being like, "Hey, man, that fucking sucks," and it did. And I don't know what she's trying to do. The work shoot stuff that goes on AEW between her and people like MJF is like, "Hey, man, y'all, this shit ain't. Y'all need to stop doing this shit. It sucks." So yeah,
it's Look, I wonder who who picked up the phone and called Wade. And the thing is, like, I can throw a dart and probably just hit anybody.
There's so many options. There's so many options.
For what I gather is, like, Britt Baker's not a popular person amongst the women, at least. And dudes ain't exactly trying to get caught up in foolishness either. People trying to, like, keep their nose clean, and an easy way into drama is by associating yourself with the doctor. And, it's it just seems like this is something that and it's Tony Khan again. Solve a problem. Try to solve a problem. Just don't like it goes in Guantanamo Bay and he forgets about it, but like, you putting this away, this dynamite is going to explode. I promise you.
Whatever. If there's enough time where she got to sit on ice, no one will care. In theory. Like, if you like, look, I don't know how long her contract is, but let's say, like, contract runs till 2028.
Nah, it ain't that long.
I'm getting my joke off regardless, Rich. I'm getting my TI joke off anyway. Like, let's say her contract till 2028. All right, she gets to go get out of the Phoenix had a straitjacket on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once she's able to get out of the asylum and get into the prison, who gonna give a shit? It's gonna be 2028.
I think WWE would sign her in a heartbeat and hand her a live mic.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I think they would do it. I don't think they'll get the opportunity though.
and CM Punk loves her, so she an asshole.
You know what? I can't call that as being completely accurate still, because
she fucked that up too.
Don't worry about why, but
oh man.
I mean, did you ever see?
Oh man.
Hey James, did you ever see Britt work in Collision?
I don't know how far they interacted with I don't remember. I really don't.
She did not. She did not show up.
I thought she worked the first Collision.
She did not appear.
No.
She did not appear on Collision until.
I'm taking a rampage. I'm sorry.
She did not appear on Collision until someone was cleared out of there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't know why it's so hard just to go to work.
Man.
Punch in, do your damn job, fucking leave.
Yeah, you would think, but it's tough, man. Yeah. Moving on. Speaking of leaving, someone that is leaving on the way out, at least as a pro wrestler, Christopher Daniels is up out of here. Very beloved pro wrestler amongst fans and the business and stuff like that. Watched his match with Hangman Page on Collision. I think it was pretty good. I don't think it was like blowy or anything like that, but I thought it was a hell of a job as far as, like, there are so few things I want to be positive about in AEW right now, and this is like an example of, like, there's Christopher Daniels for me is somebody, people be talking about it, but they don't be living it. Like, CD is living it when it comes to, like, helping out the next generation, putting somebody over strong, really, kind of going out in a way that ends up really about someone else. Like, and I think that, I think Daniels or Hangman's going to pick up his move, the Angel's Wings joint. He came out dressed like a older version of himself, like on the indies, kind of more popular version of himself. Long career outside of WWE. This is a TNA, legend. Kind of, by the time AEW got started, he was transitioning to being out the ring. The Unbreakable Three-Way, everyone always talks about from TNA. You think about like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe is hanging around. He actually returned this week. So, when I saw the whole thing going on with him and Hangman, I didn't understand it. I got kind of tipped off early in the week that this was going to be Daniels' retirement match. And I was like, oh, it all locked into place for me there. And then, what they did in the match was just like, obviously he bled for it, just like, hit those moonsaults. He was like, yo, this is all I got left to give. And it was, most last matches are like, this person's a shell of himself. He does not look like he's in his prime or anything, but he still has something to offer, and he's walking away, pretty much as good as you can. And then I think it was commendable what he did, and Hangman executed this man. Like, this was like, this is how you make a motherfucker. And then when he was walking away, and then he went back, he looked like a cold, psycho son of a bitch. And it was like, you're telling me the Death Rider, John Moxley, is more raw than this? Okay. Hands is up. I give in. Like, but I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I thought the match was I thought it was predictable and fine. And then what got me to actually get really into it was the best moonsault ever onto the bits of the broken part of the table that had the barbed wire. I was like, oh, okay. Like, by that point in time, like, I was enjoying the match while still being able to predict the next spot and every single thing that's happening. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then Hangman fortuitously mouth gets busted open because of the piece of the table, and it was really fun. So I really enjoyed the match. Like, I just I watched that match, and then I watched the Ishii and Okada match, and I said to myself, like, why is this on Collision? Exactly. If you have matches that are like this fun compared to what I saw on Dynamite,
bro,
like why are these on Collision, not Dynamite? Like, Collision went up against NFL playoffs. That's insane.
Yeah. When I watched the Ishii and Okada match, I was like, all right, Ishii and Okada's cool, right? I was like, just knowing how everything got booked this week, I was like, so we had Kenny and Ishii in the same place. Like, we could have just got like one of them, like, real quick. Like, like, what the fuck? Like, and I guess, we should use that as a transition into Dynamite this week.
Okay.
And what a show from the perspective of, what the fuck was this? Like, and I'm just like thinking about like some of the things on it where I just assume that, you know what? I should never assume. How about that? Because what it's telling me is just tons of things I hate and don't understand. We started with the opening match. Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage. Now, this was a good match.
Yeah.
This was fine in a vacuum. This was cool.
They weren't out there trying to have a super match. They're telling this match of Kenny Omega is in there versus a dude that's bigger and stronger than him, and he still has issues with his with rust / lingering injuries from the diverticulitis. And he overcomes the big monster, and also the cheating from the Callis family at different spots, especially Lance Archer, to then beat Cage. And then after he gets in, the crowd's happy. Like, they put Archer in there to put the beat down. They put stomps on him. But then out comes Ospreay and the outcomes Takeshita, and then it seems like they're setting up Takeshita and Fletcher versus Osprey in Omega tag match. I'm down to see, obviously, because it's a great match, and obviously like it fits the story of all of everything Callis and Omega and Osprey have been through over the last 3 years. But it felt like you did need to lay out Kenny Omega 2 shows in a row, fresh off of coming back. I'm okay with the direction that's where you're going. He's not going straight to the title. That's fine, because this makes more sense that he comes back and he's going straight to what took him off TV as opposed to what Samoa Joe did on this same show where he's like, oh, Chris Jericho put me through a fucking drywall with a forklift and I'm going to come out here and help Hook against fucking Christian. Like, that was weird. But like, hey, can we just not like lay out Kenny Omega 2 weeks in a row on his first 2 shows back?
This is
back
not
to back.
This is not what took him off TV though. The Elite took him off TV, and he has not interacted with Kazuchika Okada since that first.
Okay. Hold on. You're talking about like
when he was in his hometown.
Okay, so you talking when he came back for like one show to get beat down on and then he went away again?
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that plus the Omega, plus the handing the belt to Okada after World's End is all like, that's a long tease for July. We're getting back to stuff that Kenny Omega was actually doing before he like got off to Golden Jets or whatever else. So you are right. I'm wrong. You're right. I totally completely forgot about it. This has been so fucking long since you've been on TV.
So that sounds, James, like it was a fresh opportunity to reacclimate you with Kenny Omega, to present him as the god of pro wrestling. As he was saying, the god of pro wrestling is coming back to AEW Dynamite in that promo that they played on their social media that they have shown.
And they're putting it over on commentary a lot too.
Yeah, and then I'm sorry, this was not the god of pro wrestling. This was not Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage in the way that it has been anticipated for years. They took they advertised it as limited commercial breaks. We thought we were about to see some great match. Do you think Brian Cage thinks this was the dream match that he's been envisioning for years with Kenny Omega, with Lance Archer running in left and right, Don Callis trying to interfere? No! I saw this and I was like, this is the wrong Kenny Omega to be presented. This is the wrong thing. Like, to be presenting him as like, he's so hurt dealing with, diverticulitis. He's struggling through. He's just, just ho-hum. And, like, it's the complete wrong character presentation for somebody that the company needs a spark. They need him to just come in here, whoop ass, be fiery, be impressive, be electric, and, like, I know, like, people are going to boil this down and say, you want him to wrestle like he did in the Tokyo Dome. I'm like, bro, what about, like when I saw him wrestle against Gabe Kidd, it looked like he was in there dictating the pace. It looked like he was in there being fast. He was in control of the match. Here, just laying it out for him to get whooped.
Rich,
go ahead.
Well, Rich, you know what people are going to say. In New Japan, he's the heel. Here, he's the babyface. And that's one of those things when it comes to Kenny Omega is like, his presentation as a babyface has never matched what his presentation is as the gaijin / heel in New Japan or in Japan in general. It just hasn't. And I will say this. As far as the returns go, as far as selling entry and not being quote unquote the same, I feel like he was more of himself than he was when he first came back with the trio stuff. When he was,
it was almost comedic then.
Well, it was like so obvious, like everything's like you take off a piece wearing full body armor, a full bodysuit basically, like every match he has like less and less stuff on, like he's getting himself into shape. Like visually and even like it's like storytelling wise, like he's more in quote unquote seasoned and ready to go now than he was back then. But it's still one of the things. It was like he didn't necessarily have to do this, especially when it's like he's about to hop into this tag thing. Like
this thing feels like it's booked to sabotage.
I don't think it's needed because the Callis family is going to have the numbers advantage all this time. It's going to be a 2v7 or whatever, or 2v5.
This feels like it's booked to make sure he does not get over in a way that where he's an actual threat. like to where people like are clamoring. This is cooling the jets. Like this is like taking what the crowd is gifting you and pouring cold water on it. As you mentioned, after the match, they're having Ospreay out again. Ospreay cut a promo. He wants to see Kenny Omega, so Kenny Omega is still a mute. They don't check in with these guys throughout the whole night on this show. After they had this, they can't catch him in the corner, but I know who we can catch. We can catch Jeff Jarrett for an additional interview after the one that he did in the ring for 13 minutes. Was
only 13 minutes.
They got more time to do the face-to-face MJF Jeff Jarrett promo than Kenny Omega and Brian Cage got bell to bell.
No. You're telling me that was only 13 minutes? It felt like it was 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got more time than the limited commercial interruption match, and I just don't like it, and I don't think they have a clue on what to do with Kenny Omega. So, going to just, look, I'll compartmentalize it and deal with it until he goes back to New Japan Pro Wrestling again. Tag match, Takeshita and Fletcher. 2 singles matches, maybe. Who knows? I don't know if there's another Fletcher Ospreay match on deck. Takeshita and Omega, there's probably, it's nothing like putting the international belt on them to keep them away from, whatever. So, who knows? Oh, man. Can you tell I'm upset?
I mean, they're not going to audible. Like, as clear as day, they're not going to audible. Like, whatever they have planned for Darby Allin or whatever Moxley is doing, whoever's going to succeed him, it's not going to be Kenny Omega. It's not going to be Adam Page. It's not going to be Swerve Strickland. Like, and that was the case before Kenny Omega came back. So, like, it doesn't really bother me in that way. It is bothering you. So, I just like, whatever. And they need to get to the point with Moxley, and they have options. Those are the options, obviously. But that's not what we're going to go with. So, whatever. I think it's dumb too, but I'm not gonna get. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, whatever. The rest of the show can be fun, and then we get to the Moxley thing. It's gonna fucking suck. So, and I say that as like I enjoyed the house match in this main event. I enjoyed it. I thought he gave Hobbs stuff with all the interference, with the kicking out of the big moves, whatever else. I didn't see the 12-man tag from Collision, but like I just this whole thing is toxic at the top. It is like you'd be like, you can pick this person. It's like, yeah, you can pick any number of names that have had to be better than this. That ain't the problem. The problem is they're dead set on this. The problem ain't they ain't picking Kenny Omega. The problem ain't they ain't picking Spur. The problem ain't they ain't picking Page. The problem is they have picked Moxley to do this, and Moxley's not a good heel. We don't have enough evidence to know this. Every time he's been given the ball to be a heel, everywhere he's been that we've seen, he's been markedly less good as compared to when he was babyface in the same promotion. He's not good at being a heel. He's over fucking thinking it. Like even when you went to like the BCC days when they were tweeners or whatever else, it's like the tweener version of him was so much better. Do you want this Moxley or the Moxley was out here going against Page in Texas Death 2 years ago? You want that guy?
It's almost like two different guys.
This fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like AEW fans do not want to watch that. Like what? Like there seems to be this popular sentiment of him doing the bloodline, and that's apparently what he's trying to do. But like, bro,
that's what it seemed like to me.
But bro, like, AEW fans don't want to watch the Bloodline. They already had the Elite, like, and that's where they ripped the shit from, and then like boiled it down to like McDonald's essentially in WWE. That's what it was. So it's like, why are you trying to copy the? I don't know.
Here's another problem with it, right? Let's say they are trying to do the Bloodline. The Bloodline was beating over as fuck baby faces. Who's the wildly over baby face that they had like conquered? Where's the Cody Rhodes equivalent? Where's the Sami Zayn equivalent? Where's the Drew McIntyre equivalent? Oh, there is none because we don't have any good babyface on facing champion because we have to all doing other shit aside from facing him. So we got these weak challengers and babyface that he can fucking go over.
They have.
Oh, okay.
They have cooled most of them off or using them in different ways.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Like all the top acts in this company that are still doing cool stuff are doing it away from the title.
It's amazing.
To do this on the title, I don't know, like where will you put this Moss act? Where will you put this Moss act? All right, let's do this. Hurt Business, Callis Family,
Osprey,
Omega, Osprey,
Hangman,
Swerve, Page, right? Like all those things I'd much rather see than what Moss is doing right now. All of them.
Mercedes,
Ricochet. I guess you can staple that to Swerve.
Whatever Mercedes is doing, I'll take it over this.
Yeah, I mean, it's goofy as shit. If people disagree with me, like I am so fucking tickled and amused with the Tony Storm and Mariah thing right now. So like, I would take that too.
Look, I don't know anybody that likes the Death Riders. There are people that like the Mariah, and so I don't know anyone that's like, yeah, this shit fire. Like I can't find them with a search party. Like
I don't know why they haven't adjusted. Like, if you want to keep the belt on him, sure, but you have to make adjustments to make this where people are not just like tuned out on this. Like for me, outside of Jeff Jarrett and MJF, there's nothing I like less with AEW than the fucking Death Rider top title shit going on right now. That's the only thing I like more. I like less. Only thing I like less.
Man, so going forward from there, Chris Jericho did the New York Minute, bunch of shit there. They basically
the bad comedy intended to get heat. They're laying heat on them. Great.
Talking about that 12-man tag, it was essentially, fuck the internet. Essentially, this is a response. Then Ricochet addressed his attack on Swerve. He came out there, crowd booing. He's doing the gimmick where he's acting like he wants to speak, but he doesn't. They drown him out with Swerve's house chants. He's got the scissors in the suit.
Do you remember when Mariah had turned on Tony and left her bloody, and it showed up, and then she took forever? She just took forever to talk on the mic, and then Tony Schiavone said, "Come on, bitch, speak."
Yes.
In my mind, that's what I was thinking of when he was wasting all that time. I was like, "Come on, bitch, speak." I wanted Schiavone to say that to Ricochet so bad because he was wasting forever. He was taking so long. Oh my god. He was taking. Oh yeah. So go ahead, Rich.
He said a picture is worth 1,000 words, and then he showed the attack on Swerve on the big screen before his music hit. Swerve basically doesn't come out, but Prince Nana sneaks in and hits him with a chair. Prince Nana swings the chair better than Gato.
No, you leave it out of the crucial part. He did it in time with the music to where he hit him as the tag goes, "Garments," hits Ricochet and does the dance all the time at the entrance. I was like,
yes.
Someone thought of this. Someone thought of this on purpose to get the dance with the whole swing of the chair. Like, that's genius. And I don't know why you put that much thought into this, but I liked it. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
This one comes down to the ring. Look, they had this. I thought the camera direction on this show was especially bad because, like, they had this camera shot of, like, making the hard cam basically be like shot from
the stage,
like the top of the stage / entrance into the at points, and then it kept changing back to a regular presentation over and over and over again. It was really bad. But when Swerve walked down to that ring with that chain around his neck and he had a shirt on, it looked like he had put on like 15 pounds of muscle the last time I seen him. I was like, you like Triple H in the spring of 99. It's like, wait, what? Or the summer of 99. Like, wait, what's happening here? Like, the animal pumping the world. What was he doing out there? So he comes out to the ring and then he got a Ricochet with a chain, and luckily I was like, I was like, a black man with another black man with a chain. This is kind of uncomfortable, but all right, let's see. Rich got the fuck out there and ran off into the they showed he went out the door out the entrance and like you can see the floor on the ground. It was funny.
That man ran off into the night of winter.
Yeah. And Shivani didn't point out like he ain't got no winter coat for this snow and this on the ground. He just run out there.
And that man was on that no sock life. He was out there doing that. So
yeah, no socks on.
I don't think he had no socks on.
He had the basketball shoes on.
Oh man. So Swerve comes back in. Music's still playing this whole time.
Yeah, and they cut. I thought he was gonna get a promo, but they cut it to TV. You know what he said off air? Okay, it seemed like they gave him an off air promo.
They will be wrestling each other in Atlanta, so lucky me, I get to see this in person. It's going to be a pretty huge match, probably the main event of the show, so it looks like they're counting on that one to move some tickets there, so it would send a message, I think. So hopefully, and they're going to be in the Atlanta Dreams Arena, so I don't have to go to Duluth. Do you know how happy I am about this? Oh, my God. And apparently... You know who the co-owner of this building is, James?
No.
Titty Boy.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 Chainz.
What's the name of the building?
I think it's called the Gateway Arena, I think. I'm not sure. It's like College Park area. So, like...
well, okay.
So
that
almost
means real close to you.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, that's South Atlanta.
Almost by default, it should draw better than having to drive to Duluth. Bro, it is a fucking night. Like, it's so annoying driving out to Duluth. It's just annoying more than anything. It's like, all right, man, I got to change all these fucking roads and then, like, just go way up there. It's like, no, man. So, like, and apparently the building was waiting on, something like AEW to call them just because it's like, they want to get booked, but just no one had, noticed it. So until... the right person noticed it. So,
what do you think of that building that they went to for Dynamite in Collision in Cincinnati? What do you think of it?
Sometimes it looked good. Then other times I felt like I was watching Shotgun Saturday Night.
You know what? It's funny you said it because I was thinking of more of WCW Worldwide.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it seemed like obviously it wasn't the studio, but like it felt like how they used to have like people was on top of you. Right. But it wasn't a wide building. It felt like people were on top of you. It was like because obviously it had 3 stories of people or 3 floors of people or 3 floors or you could see and I was like or 3 decks. Sorry, it's more appropriate. 3 decks is like okay, but it looked kind of small.
Yeah,
so I didn't know what to make of
it. Yeah. I think it was only in the 12 to 1400 range in attendance, but. When they would swing the camera around on the bottom floor where you get that wide shot, it looks like there are a lot of people on that bottom portion, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
We got the Hurt Syndicate against Mark Briscoe and Private Party. Boy.
This was a squash.
This was bad. Like, and not in the sense of the work was bad or anything like that. This was like a complete non-effort whatsoever to help Private Party get anything. They are just, and then they book the championship match next week. They might as well lay down like Jeff Jarrett. This is a institutional failure of why these guys have felt like this.
We squash people.
Yeah, like
we squash people.
Like, and I reject wholeheartedly that Private Party sucks or is some kind of bad act or they should have just been beaten right away to move. Like
they wasn't a bad act in October,
right? They didn't get a chance. They didn't get booked like on the show. Like they got one defense on Collision against like Leo Rush and Action Andretti. They didn't bother trying with anybody else. Just like they're not trying with all the champions right now. Ain't none of the champions getting on Dynamite. If Kenny Omega didn't show his country ass up, Takesha would not be on Dynamite right now. Why do I say this? Because he's like, look at the results. Where's Daniel Garcia?
Right.
It's almost like these belts. Like we see through what they're not actually belts. Like
they're saying Garcia versus Kyle O'Reilly right now.
Like the champions are actually, like the real champions are actually on TV. Like, like the people without the belts are the real champions. Like MJF, like Jeff Jarrett. like Copeland,
yeah. Well, Rich, like, this whole last year, like when people talk about like AEW has too many titles, the problem is like it wasn't that they had too many titles, that like they these titles don't have divisions and people chasing after them in a way that you see in a clear way as a motivator for like why these people tick, and that's a problem. Like the AEW tag team division does not matter unless FTR or the Young Bucks are champions.
Correct.
That's been the case for like 3 years now or 2 years, whatever. The trios division has not mattered except for when the Young Bucks had the belts. I'm sorry, the Elite had the belt when it was like Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And the second they got out of that, away from Game 7 or whatever else, the belt ceased to matter. Mariah May, not really a great champion, or not really even a good champion. And it has struggles with trying to find opponents for her and interesting stuff for her to do. And that's struggling that way. Mercedes, not good at TV. That's a Mercedes issue more than it actually is the belt. And then you get to the bad television that Moxley is doing with Death Riders, right? Takeshita, afterthought. Okada, afterthought. Except we let him beat fucking Will Ospreay in the pay-per-view.
Yeah, in his own
right?
world. Like,
yeah, in his own world with that belt, right? Have fun matches when he has them, right? Have fun match with Pac, have fun match with Ishii, have fun match with Ospreay, have fun match in the C2. But outside of C2 season, he's just a guy that get involved to just have him off to where like justification to keep him pushed, keep him unbeaten or protected relatively well, and we don't know where
keep him away from the world belt
until the Young Bucks come back. Yeah, and we don't know what we're going to do with him for real until the Young Bucks come back. Right? Yeah, it's a lot of that with these belts. With all the belts.
So like the Private Party, like they are not really like judging them is, I think, entirely unfair for this. You can see the lack of commitment that was actually, committed to them, and it's just they're gonna get squashed next week, and I would be shocked if they even got hope spots next week because I don't think Lashley is trying to bump for nobody, or Shelton Benjamin's not trying to bump for anybody here, and the Hurt Syndicate are going to get something apparently. This is what it is. So, this is a tough break. This is a tough break for Quinn and Zay, and it's like when they walk back through, what do you say to them to be like, "Hey, man, keep your head up." Like if you're the management position, it's like, how do you tell them they did a good job when it's like we didn't even give you a chance to fail? Like we just decided for you.
Oh, I got another question for you. I don't have no answer for you, but I have another question. If Bobby Lashley can so thoroughly, convincingly beat Swerve on pay-per-view, why is he not in the title picture immediately?
Oh, he's a bad guy.
This is why they got rid of the rankings. They don't have to show the work. They just do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, we'll just have another fucking gauntlet or battle royal to defend the champion or whatever else. Beating someone in a singles match doesn't matter. Kyle Fletcher getting the title shot? Why? He only beat Will Ospreay.
Funny.
Ospreay beat him back. Ospreay beat him, and then he goes out there and loses to Okada. He has to start from the bottom all over again. That was to reset the clock on Ospreay. To a big loss.
You were learning. Not you in particular, but it's just like this.
I know you were talking about me.
This is like you guys listen to this show.
I saw someone ask you about what was it, a fake job meant, and I was like, you watch this, you don't know what a fake job is,
bro. So normally I would not explain that. I would say just listen to the podcast because I don't tweet about my thoughts about like booking and all that stuff because my tweets get too popular and it's like I attract too many dummies. But I've seen this guy reply to me, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna type out the thorough answer for him. And after the fifth tweet I sent, he agreed or whatever. He's like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, I understand the concept. And the original thing came from talking about the Money in the Bank briefcase or whatever. And I said the whole thing has been like a fake job device for 20 years. How do you not know what this is? And it was like, why are they not doing a Tiffany Stratton-Nia match after having them linked for months and then cashing in on her? I was like, because you don't have to ask Nia Jax to actually do a job for her. That's one possible thing. It could be maybe she didn't actually want to do a job for her. There's two different things. Or the booker wants to just like not beat somebody and keep them strong. Like, so there's three different outs right there for what the Money in the Bank situation could be. And then ideally it would lead to a match. And I ended up bringing up, I used to like the idea of the option C thing for TNA, where they were the secondary champion. And if you get to, I don't know, however many defenses of the secondary belt, you could say, I like to do option C and trade it in and in advance, and you get a world title match. I like that or whatever. But I think the Money in the Bank thing with the fake jobs and stuff is like, it's interesting, man. Like, you guys know what fake jobs are, but all these jobs that are getting done around AEW are really illustrated when someone like Cope walks in, and then it's just like he's positioned right there with Moxley at the end of the pay-per-view. They do the quick TV program with Will Hobbs right there, and they stick Cope around the whole thing on Collision. After that match. They open with the pre-match promos. Everyone cuts their promos, including Hobbs, and they got Cope positioned in the back, and he's like, John Moxley, I'm going to take your AEW championship. And it's like, oh, this is what it really was. Like, I knew what was going on the entire time. Smart people like listen to One Nation Radio knew what was happening this whole time. But it's like, I think the patterns are so transparent. We have seen them for 5 years at this point, Tony. You gotta do something to where.
They're not even his necessary trope. Like, this is a trope of just pro wrestling and American pro wrestling. Like, you see this shit all the time. People get positioned and moved out the way, and people be made into transitional champions so they don't have to face, top babyface as put over the other top babyface they want the belt on, right? Like, Backlund, gets chopped down by Sheik so that Sheik puts over Hogan. They didn't want Sheik and Backlund. They didn't want Hogan and Backlund ever interact.
Right.
Pretended like. Yeah, that's all that is. But at least, like, back then it was like, okay, well, like, champions are always on top. We don't want good guys to face good guys. Now it's like they got to come up with other bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with, like, dynamics, like, good and bad. They just, this person shouldn't be losing this person this time, and hopefully we'll get a match in the ring 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. Oh, they're in WWE again? Great.
Yeah, man. We could go.
When I say that, I don't mean like there's something that's actually happened, but I mean like this is the risk you run when you don't just go ahead and tell someone to lay the fuck down or whatever else. You don't actually get that the idea of the big win for somebody against somebody, or someone get put hands on their mantle above their mantle, and then like they get frustrated and they leave potentially. Like that happens. That's a risk you run in both companies of this stuff. Now there's two companies.
Yeah, because like I gotta say, like there was like Baron Corbin responding to someone was talking about Ray Phoenix or whatever, right?
Do you ever wish you could ask your data anything at any time? How are sales this quarter? How is a specific marketing campaign performing? How is the overall health of the business? With Domo's AI and data products platform, you can. Domo lets your team channel AI and data quickly, securely, and innovatively to deliver measurable insights wherever and whenever you need them. Anyone on your team can use Domo to prepare, analyze, visualize, automate, and distribute data amplified by AI. Domo goes beyond productivity. It's designed to transform your processes and drive real growth, powered by trust, flexibility, and years of expertise in data and AI innovation. Data is hard. Domo is easy. Learn how Domo can help you make smarter moves faster at ai.domo.com. That's ai.domo.com.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance. But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Plus $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.
Hello, my name is Jorge Gaviria, and I'm the founder of Macienda. We partner with farmers in Mexico to bring heirloom corn products to every kitchen. With my Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on every purchase. And it has no preset spending limit, which means my purchasing power adapts to my business needs. My Spark card helps me fulfill my mission of bringing masa to the masses. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.
And, you know, people were saying, like, I think Corbin was basically saying, hey, you signed a contract. It was like, if you got hurt, they would still pay you or whatever, right? And then it wasn't necessarily about what Corbin was saying about Phoenix's situation. It's just like, all right, do you think those guys in WWE and Corbin, you know, he's a WWE guy. You can imagine most of them kind of probably feel like this. Do you think that they're excited about AEW guys jumping over to get the huge spotlights like they're getting while, quote unquote, they did the work to build that place up? That's how it's always worked. Do you think they were excited to see Chris Jericho walk in the door in 1999? Do you think they were excited to see the big show? Like, do you think they were excited when the NWO came back? Like, stuff is always happening. Even when you don't think it's happening, stuff is always happening.
Yep.
Yeah, and MVP wrestled here, and I don't think he needs to.
He should not be wrestling anymore.
I don't think he needs to.
He should not be wrestling.
I think the act is stronger with him out the ring.
Right. Like, the part where he can just be a manager and bump once or twice, that should be good enough.
Yeah. And
good enough.
And, like, it's like these old guys just keep popping up like whack-a-mole, essentially. Like, you think you get rid of one, or you don't even get one, and there's just more popping up. Like, I'm seeing squash match Dustin Rhodes graphics, and I'm like, where do y'all keep coming from? Like, look, CD goes down and retires. Who? The MVP sprouts up. Dustin Rhodes sprouts up. I'm like, all right, man. You know, this is Pro Wrestling Noah a couple years ago, apparently now.
I don't think anything is as bad as Kaz Vegeta, but if you say so.
I mean, MVP is shooter, ain't he? He is shooter, ain't he? So, we got an announcement of Cope and Pac next week. So, battle of the one names. And then they showed us a nice, cuddly, bubbly video package of Cope and FTR and why they're friends.
I didn't mind that because you need to explain, like, why are they even together? Because people don't know the stuff like that we know in theory. So it's like, I thought that made sense. But it also it was like, for me, it's like, I think this would be more effective if this was like an in-person, in-ring promo of them talking about why they came together. I feel like it would have felt more heartfelt as opposed to like, oh, well, I mean, they already kind of explained it like in the press conference backstage that is not a part of the show at all. That is like people, you know, getting asked, you know, by media marks stuff. So like, we'll just record that and put it on air. It's like, I don't think they ever put anything like that on air before. So I thought it was kind of interesting. But it's like, all right, whatever. It does the job. I think it would have been better if it was done in the ring. I think the crowd would have cheered like them all coming together and talking about how like when Edge was, you know, coming back from all this stuff that they were helping them behind the scenes, or they were helping behind the scenes, whatever else, which allowed them to, you know, become bigger star fuckers. But that's not. I felt like that would have been more heartfelt, but
I think you're right. I think if they would have been all together and then he would have been like Cope in the middle of the ring and then those guys just off in the corner, like one in each side or whatever, and they'd be like, I looked at this man, Dax Hartwin, pointed him out, and be like, and when I thought I couldn't do something no more, this man helped me out, like something like that, like to where it's like damn near where he's about to cry and be like, I love this man, whatever. Like you tried to like do something to him or whatever, like something like that. I think, you know, along the lines of what you were saying would be more effective.
Yeah. Like the one thing that got me was like, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if people believe it to be true, but like that, you know, that backstage shit is like not a part of canon. When they played it, and Cash Brewer said that like his two best friends in the world are Dax and Copa, I was like, you only live for a couple years. The fuck? Okay, whatever. If you say so. All right, sure, whatever.
Coming
and
up,
then my next thought was like, how does Big CM feel about that?
right. Did they fall out? Like, what's the, what is it like at the FTR birthday party? Like when it's their birthday, and I'm pretending it's just all one. They celebrate together. Like when it's their birthday.
Not only is it bald hair now, they're not related, and not only they're related, they're not twins now.
Yeah. They got one birthday.
Okay.
They don't got time for two birthdays.
Yeah.
So like when
they don't have enough personality for two birthdays.
Right.
Okay.
So
all right.
So when they throw their birthday party, like when Orton walks in, when Big CM walks in.
Forgot about the first part. Yes.
When Big Coat walks in, like who gets the big piece of who they give the big piece of cake to out of them, or the big piece of chicken? Like do they try to like who do they split the time with? Like, hey man, don't worry about you my guy. This get awkward. Is a friendship, jealousy here at the birthday party? Like what's the what's the dynamic here?
So this is like Drake at Drake's birthday party like 2 or 3 years ago when he has to go to like talk to LeBron or Steph or KD. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
He ain't got to worry about that so much so now, but
keep the family away.
Yeah.
KD ain't got no family, so he all right.
Hey, look, and Steph and LeBron certainly have kept that family away. Or their families away. Yeah, so I'm gonna say you still gotta give Orton a big piece of cake because Orton's the biggest motherfucker out of all of them. Orton's 6'4", that man is jacked to the gills or juiced to the gills now. You gotta keep him happy because he's temperamental.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, and it go bad, look, at the end of the day, I don't think CM Punk can whoop either one of them. So you just deal with it that way, like, man. Tough shit, Punk. Tough shit. But at the same time, when Punk got let go.
But what happens when Brett walks in?
Oh my God, Rich! Do you not see that video package? They showed that picture of FTR and Edge. It was like FTR and Coke and Bret Hart. I was like, God damn it!
They've done it again.
I was like, they have managed to fake Bret Hart into this shit again.
Be Smooth in the comments. FTR opened the keys to their house and Punk is sitting there in the dark. Punk responds, so you were with him?
Damn it.
CM Punk sitting
listen to Mario Waters.
Look, CM Punk he's sitting in the dark, is doing his, how he sits on stage, with the legs crossed, just in the living room.
Legs crossed? God damn it.
That man in the living room playing the music slowly.
No.
Backwards.
Okay, no. FTR, look, now they got a birthday, right? They got a house together, right?
Yo.
And I don't mean that no free shit neither.
Nope.
Like,
no free shit.
They just platonically living together, right? They walk through the house.
They ain't no freaks. They some family men getting this paper.
Yes. They are cohabitating. Both families live together in the same house. Look. I don't know if Dax's daughter calls Cash Uncle Cash or second daddy. I don't know which one, but it's working that kind of way. It's two families together, right? They come through. They get home off the road. They come through the door, right? There are no lights on, nothing's on except they see that the fireplace is lit. They walk through and see why the fireplace is lit. And all of a sudden they see the silhouette in front of them of a man with their back turned to him while sitting crisscross. And it's CM Punk. And he'd be like, I've been waiting for y'all motherfuckers. Where have you been? Have you been seeing him behind my back? Yes, exactly what this is. Why are we turning to Tunnel Talk all of a sudden? This is Tunnel Talk shit we doing right now.
Hey, eventually all the shows morph into each other. Eventually.
Yeah, but
I thought when you said with the fire, you gonna see a nigga standing like this, like with the Orton pose.
Oh, no, burn that shit down with they fell. God damn it.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So from constant entertainment there to a 50-pound flaming pile of shit, Jeff Jarrett and MJF go face to face. And man, it is every MJF face-to-face promo that we've ever heard in life, featuring some particularly dumbfounding lines, especially saying Jeff Jarrett is the last thing you see until your favorite promotion dies. I think that's stupid. I think Jeff Jarrett saying basically, your girlfriend's getting game banged in the back, with the fellas and all that stuff, and that's the baby face.
And at a time.
That's really bad. Really, really bad.
Referring to the Ospreay MJF match where MJF won at the end as a 60-minute Broadway, and then said that your missus had a 6-minute Broadway with 10 guys in the back at the same time, was like, one, you are factually incorrect, and two, you are alluding to the part where like they went long just to go long. You weren't supposed to say that.
It was true, right?
I know, Rich. We both know that was true, but you're not supposed to fucking say it.
Yeah. So I'll go through it here. So he said, MJ walked to the ring, said last week gave Jarrett an opportunity of a lifetime, got turned down. Jarrett cut him off, said MJF was too lazy to enter the casino gauntlet and never tried to scheme. And he tried to basically scheme Jeff Jarrett, and then MJF screamed for Jarrett not to interrupt him again. MJF cooled down, said he's a living legend, as Jarrett has convinced these dumb schmucks that he's one too. MJF said Jarrett is the last outlaw because he's the last thing you see before your favorite wrestling company dies. MJF called Jarrett a pro wrestling Grim Reaper and said, thinking of his career makes him want to drink, because Jeff Jarrett has formerly had alcohol problems. MJF apologized. He called him a raging, recovering alcoholic, and he said he'll send Jarrett's ass packing back to rehab where he belongs. He said he'll make sure his sexy MILF of a wife sticks around, as he's a fan of Karen, but when he's done with her, he'll ship her back to Nashville so Jarrett knows what a generational talent and Olympic gold medalist balls taste like. Jarrett then said all MJF does is make cruel insults, and he knows his best years are behind him. So there was a portion of this where I was like, oh, they fucked this up. Oh, Jeff Jarrett recovered this. Oh, Jeff Jarrett ran into a ditch. And then like it was going back and forth the whole time. And then when he says, you are somebody that knows your best years are behind you and you're insecure about it, I thought that was the string they need to pull all over this thing, and they ran 50 miles an hour away from it. He said entering the Owen Hart Cup last year made him realize he still wants to keep going. Jarrett said it's exactly what needs to get him on track to become the AEW champion. MJF thinks he can hurt Jarrett's feelings, but he did everything like this before MJF and better than him. Jarrett's confused whether MJF is a dumbass, scumbag, or all of the above. Jarrett said it must be tough being raised by a call girl mother, and knows for a fact when his father knocked his mother up, she made him pay for it. Jarrett said the old saying is, we're married to our mommies. MJF's is nothing but a Canadian call girl. While MJF was burning it up for 60 minutes with Will Ospreay, his old lady was doing the same thing with a bunch of wrestlers in the back. Jarrett said MJF is drowning in his own shit, an entitled prick, a scared little boy who won't enter the gauntlet, and he's scared of becoming a one-hit wonder. This thing keeps going, by the way. This thing was going forever and ever and ever. So MJF said he didn't need his daddy to make him a top guy or to start his own company to be a top guy. I thought that was fair of MJF right there. MJF made MJF. We know what happens when Jarrett's king of the mountain. I thought that was another good one. While MJF is to thank for record pay-per-view buys, ticket sales, the best in the world, then he got screwed. His name, reputation, legacy dragged through the mud as he doesn't want to win the world title. He needs to win it and shove it down all his detractors' throats, but he has to wait in line for Jeff Jarrett, ? with all due respect, no wrestling fan has ever given a shit about Jarrett. What pisses MJF off is just because Jarrett was best friends with Owen Hart, he's owed a grand finale, but he sees through his BS. He's nothing more than a leech riding the coattails of his deceased friend. Jarrett then stole MJF because, of course, you have to steal MJF after that. Security came out. Karen Jarrett's in there. MJF acts like he's about to take her hostage and then threw her into Jarrett. And then I just sat there just kind of wondering for who, for what. Why did it escalate this quickly? I've also seen this movie before. They do all this, and it's not like they're about to have, like MJF's about to have some barn burner, incredible, hard, match or anything. Like he's about to have this soft-ass match probably with Jeff Jarrett, unless somebody can talk them into doing a Memphis Street Brawl, which is what they should do. However, I think this segment was very bad, very tasteless, and nothing I want to watch. And they have things in here. They have threads they can pull. They can make this interesting with. But this pot of gumbo has doo-doo in it.
I hated this. One, I don't want to see them wrestle because I don't give a fuck. Two, the stuff they're saying about each other, insulting their shortcomings and failures or whatever else, and whatever. As far as characters, it's one thing. Another thing for MJF, he's a heel. I get it. To just basically kill the whole guy's career, which with honestly a lot of truth, which doesn't help. And then for them to while he's telling the truth, mention the whole the Kurt Angle stuff, the alcoholism, which I didn't know about. And it was just and then it's just for teeing over the Jarrett stuff, the Karen Jarrett stuff, going on to talking about MJF's fiance. It's yo, this is, I want to watch this. This is fucking dumb. I don't care. I don't care. This made me care even less. It made me check out. It's not for me. So whoever does like this, y'all feel free to tell me what y'all liked about it. But for me, it's a no.
I agree. And it was just how long this gonna go on? What do y'all have planned? Can we wrap this shit up? I don't know, man. I hope nobody said good job when they walked back through. I hope not. Hook and Christian Cage. I couldn't give less of a fuck.
I forgot this was next after this.
Yes.
I put this shit on 2 times. I put this shit on 2 times speed after. This match is nothing.
Brother, I paid not a lick of attention to this, and I was rewarded for it because they did not give me a finish. So good thing I did not get invested. They do a disqualification.
There was a moment early in the match where, before I put it in 2 times speed, where they're on the floor and Christian chops Hook. Hook turns it around. He starts chopping Christian. He's chopping overhead chops. I'm not even gonna get to the part where Russell's on the turtleneck. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. Chops still hurt. Right? He chops him in the chest. Chops him again in the chest. Now, keep in mind, Christian ain't fucking moving. It's a stationary target. He's so I don't know what the word is. Reckless. Don't give a fuck. That Hook overhead chop Christian with the 3rd or 4th chop. He chopped him on the shoulder. Now, Rich, I want you to just grab your shoulder. You grab your shoulder. You feel all that fucking bony stuff.
Yeah.
He could have fucked around and broke his hand or overhand chop.
Yeah.
Stationary target. What the fuck is? I know people are like, maybe you're overcritical of Hook. No, man, he stinks, and he's not, and he has no bit, and his striking has always stunk. He's better being connected to someone in wrestling than actually like throwing shots or running or any of that stuff. He is just a failure of whatever developmental system you want to say AEW has for him to be around this long and for him to be this fucking clueless. I don't know. And even and look, and Christian still has good match with people. The problem where they had that whatever the fuck that was until they had a fuck finish to get out of it. I was like, man, get out of here. And then also just to bring back Joe.
Ultimately,
man,
this was about putting Samoa Joe over.
Bro, I don't look. I want to see a Samoa Joe Shibata tag team because when they were in their trios, whatever else, the matches were good when Joe was in. Match was good when Shibata was in. When Hook in, the match ain't good. If they're making trios, fine, or whatever else. And make Hook the pin eater, fine. But like that's how I was gonna go. And obviously, I don't think it was a coincidence, or was a coincidence because Taz was on commentary because they did that whole thing of teasing Taz was going to interrupt. It was actually Joe that made the save.
Can we get Hook a CDL? Like, we can't beat either Christian or Hook in this match. So the whole thing's about setting up Samoa Joe. Shout out to Trish and Sarah. They were pointed out minutes after this happened. TNA tweeted out a 2007 Samoa Joe versus Christian Cage match. And I'm just like, this is where we're at, man. You know, it's just like, this is who we setting up, bro. I don't get it, man. I do not get it. It's like, it's a zombie promotion, bro. Like, then after that, we got a video package of Jay White. All of a sudden, I haven't seen this guy for weeks, saying he's going to get his hands on Wheeler Yuta. Undisputed Kingdom say they're going to get gold in 2025. Daniel Garcia tells him to bring it on. Renee's with Jarrett backstage. Dustin Rhodes walks in. And then before Jarrett could talk about MJF, of course, because we're updating Jeff Jarrett instead of Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's being saved for next week.
So Rose said MJF doesn't know a thing about the miles Jarrett had in his career. Dustin puts all his support behind Jarrett, said MJF has no clue what they've been through during their careers. He hyped up Jarrett and said he's a 12-time world champ. Outlaws never die. They're the last of their kind. So, like, what is MJF going to do to Dustin Rhodes?
Probably going to leave him bleeding.
You know, hit him with a car, maybe. We're in sports entertainment zone. Hit him with a car. Maybe challenge him to a Hollywood back lot fight. Steal his paint, steal his bodysuit, steal his wrestling clothes. Is he going to challenge Dustin to a bunkhouse brawl? And then MJF shows up dressed like Big Josh or some shit, and then fights him and is fucking goofy. Like, everything's on deck when you get MJF around, people he allegedly is influenced by. Anything can happen, James.
I don't know, man.
Then we're back to the women's casino gauntlet. And, man, the first three entrants in this thing were Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and Megan Bayne. And I was like, ooh, I had a lot of thoughts that I, just kept to myself. And I was happy to see Megan Bayne show up. I was looking at the stature, as she came out with kind of, the gear, the presentation. I was like, this looks like a star. And then, face to face with Chris Statlander, face to face with Jamie Hayter. And I'm like,
she's bigger than both of them, yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is what I'm trying to see right here. And I'm like, I don't want to see none of the soft, the soft women wrestling, like that people can't hang in there and do it like this. And then the next thing, Julia Hart comes in, and I'm like,
yep.
Yeah. So, she brawls with Jamie Hayter on the ramp. Statlander and Bayne are going at it. Willow's number 5, so like add her to the first 3, and I'm like, there's clearly like a style that needs to win out in the women's division, and subconsciously I've been fighting this battle for a decade in America. This needs to win out, but it tends not to. And then
more Rhea Ripley's, less Liv Morgan's. Yes.
Yeah. Tony comes out, and she hits a bunch of snapmares with people and shoulder blocks. Harley Cameron got number 7. That was it. They only had 7 people in this thing, but
yeah.
And it was like they did not.
Because of brand split.
Yeah, like they.
No, you didn't hear what I said? I said it's because of the brand split.
Yeah, nah, I was gonna say because like they've done this match so much now, and it does. It felt like something was missing from this match. I don't know if it was like it didn't go long enough, it wasn't dynamic enough, maybe.
It didn't go long enough.
And then Harley took the mist, of course. And this ended with Toni Storm getting a roll up on Julia Hart. Of all people. So
she just came back like less than a month ago, and she's already done 2 jobs.
So no, she beat Jamie Hayter before.
I thought Jamie beat her.
No, Julia won. That was why it was like okay. So everybody was like, huh? And then
that match was awful. I didn't care who won or lost. That match was awful.
Look, I don't blame you for not remembering the finish because of the awfulness. But James, they're going to get a chance to do it again tomorrow night. Hart Hayter 2. So be there.
That's on Dynamite?
That's on Dynamite. Be there. After that, we got Jon Moxley and Powerhouse Hobbs. There were elements of this that I thought was okay, but all the Jon Moxley matches are becoming the same to me. 3 motherfuckers interfering, trying to shoot him, all this protection, all this bail and everything because they designed this match because they know this title is in the shitter right now, right? And I think a lot of people were I was kind of facetiously calling for Hobbs to shot the world here. I was like, why not? Just fucking do it. Who cares? Like, that's where we're at with it. And then they got to do him kicking out of everything in the world. They've got to do. This felt like, what they said a TNA match would feel like in like the mid-2010s. Tons of interference in the world title, House of Torture, anything you want to name. Like, it's just, for me, it was uninspiring. I liked the physicality of the match, but way too many outside elements to really take it seriously on that level.
Like the tease of they're going to jump him before the bell rings. He's distracted. Moxley comes from behind and gets the advantage of the match early. The briefcase shot from Marina, the run out for the bicycle knee from Yuta. Yeah, they didn't need all of that. They could have used 1 or 2. They didn't need all of it. But like you mentioned, I like the physicality of the match. I like the part where like Moxley bleeds because Hobbs like bites his ear off on some Tyson shit. Like I like that. Gave the illusion that he bit his ear because he started bleeding like crazy.
The earring off or something like that.
Yeah, that's what they said. It was the earring that he bit off the earring, which obviously he didn't, but whatever. He bladed his ear. It was like, or some part by his head. Because like I don't even know. I could have swore like you don't get much blood around the ears. That's why like the people get the cauliflower because there's not much circulation up there. But whatever. So yeah, I thought I liked that. I like the wrestling part of this wrestling match. The other stuff I did not care for, except for the part where like they already know their objective is we know we're going to do the bullshit, so we're going to try to give him something as far as he's going to kick out. He's going to have some big kickouts, and they were going to choke him out, and he's going to pass out. I was like, okay, fine, but like in AEW, some people have gotten the you've lost, but you didn't tap out or get pinned thing with a rough stoppage that is like it doesn't have the meaning that it used to because we've seen so many Danielson matches in that way.
Yeah,
it would have meant more if it would have meant more if it didn't happen. If that finish happened in WWE than it does here because it happens all the time. Same thing if you get blood in WWE.
Yep. But yeah, that was Dynamite. I did not love it, as you guys can probably surmise.
I didn't think the wrestling was bad. I just think like some of these directions, like places, they're going places I do not care to go on this trip with them. I don't want to take this journey with you.
Let me out.
I don't want to take this journey with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. I don't want to take this journey with MJF and Jarrett. Right? I am interested to see. I do want to be taking on the journey with the Callis family and Ospreay and Omega. I do want to go on the journey between Swerve and Ricochet. I do want to see the journey. I do want to see the match between Tony Storm and Mariah in Australia, and like how she's going to snap back into Tony Storm and get her time with Tony and get her vengeance. I do want to see that, right? I just think that like right now at the top, you have this very toxic thing and it's trickling down and affecting your rightfully affecting your perception of everything else. Because the most important thing is not being done optimally, it makes you start questioning the rest of the shit or scrutinizing it, or saying why is this shit up top is supposed to other stuff that should be higher or more value than this. And then MJF Jared fucking sucks. He does. Yep. And then Hooky and Christian sucks too.
And yeah. All right, let's go to these questions, man. Black Saber Jr., what's the most underrated AEW match of all time in your opinion?
Ooh. At this point, probably the Iron Man match between Omega and Pac.
That's a good shout.
I think it's kind of forgotten. Is in the first year of the company's history. It's fucking awesome. It was a TV match. It wasn't for any stakes or anything like that. It wasn't some super big feud, but it was a program. It was a early beginning program for Omega, single wise in AEW. So I think it's kind of forgotten. So I think it's more overlooked than underrated, if you will. But like I think people get lost because there's so many great matches in AEW history.
I'm gonna kind of stay in that same axis. But I'm gonna go Game 7 of the best of 7, like, and not only like maybe Game 7, maybe that whole thing. We will never see high level work across 7 matches in a period of time, condensed period of time, all different kind of things like that ever again. And how raw it was. Right. And, like, it just didn't feel like people appreciated it in real time. It didn't feel like, people have really looked back upon it with reverence. So I'll say the best of 7. Like, that shit was untouchable in the ring. That shit was, like, I love it. And in Game 7, it's only 14 minutes long. It's a ladder match. And that shit is, like, that shit's out of this world, bro. What is a random non-all-star NBA player that you always liked or thought was good?
What was the question again?
Who's a random non-all-star NBA player that you always liked / thought was good?
Random. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody that was like an dependable scorer that wasn't an all-star. Rich, you got one off the top of your head? Or are you still thinking?
Mike Bibby.
Bibby? That's a good one. Bibby never made an all-star team?
Never made an all-star team, not that I can recall. Then there's like Nick Van Exel. I think he might have made an all-star team.
I mean, I would say people like Richard Jefferson and like Andre Iguodala. Neither one of them made all-star teams, right?
I think Andre Iguodala made an all-star team.
Did he? I mean, for a long time he hadn't.
Pretty sure he might be like a 1 or 2 time all-star.
Okay, probably on the Sixers. That would make sense in the early 2010s.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mike Bibby. Like, bro, Mike Bibby was like completely fearless. And he could be
2012 All-Star team.
He could be depended on to have the ball. He was the only one that didn't shit down his legs as a Sacramento King. Yeah, I'd probably say Mike Bibby was one of them.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, when I think of guys like that, like I was thinking like knuckleheads. So like I'll probably throw out some like I enjoyed seeing some of the later JR stuff, like JR for the Cavs and like the Knicks. Like Nuggets JR, no, Nuggets JR was a fuck up.
Kobe Bryant's great, but not against me. What? This third question: where does Private Party go after they drop the belts to Shelton and Bobby? I'm typing this on Tuesday 1/21. So if this doesn't happen, call me a dumbass if Private Party wins. I do, honestly.
Can you imagine they schoolboy Shelton?
That would be like some Miracle on Ice shit.
Yeah.
We would have to bring in Al Michaels to be like, "Do you believe in miracles?"
Right. Like, it's on TV, so it definitely happened because like that's some shit you see at pay-per-view.
Yeah. Black Saber Jr. says, what would be the number one piece of advice you would give to someone who wanted to start a wrestling podcast?
Oh, I mean, honestly, it'd be like, if you're gonna do it, like, be committed to it and follow through with doing it on this basis. Like, we've done Munch Radio now since 2012. Like, I did like a side project for NXT where I was doing, or NXT Then Now Forever in 2019 where I started it, where it's like it's 5-year anniversary of NXT on the network. Let's cover. I'm going to watch, whatever week it was. We're going to do like the live review of the show. Plus, we're going to go back 5 years in time and do a 5-year review of it. And like, it just AEW happened, and it was overwhelming. I was like, I can't do this little passion project anymore. I just didn't have the time for it. So, and that's also the year I started doing starters. Like, Stardom and AEW happened at the same time. And like, nope, can't do it anymore. Can't do it. But yeah, so make sure it's something that you can fit into your schedule, because like if you overdo it, like, what you want to do, you're not gonna get out of it. So I would say make sure like you don't overextend yourself, and make sure that like you still like that you can do this in a way that like you still enjoy doing it and still enjoy watching, because like there have been times when, like, depending on the show, whatever you're watching, there's gonna be ups and downs, and when it's down, it ain't necessarily that fun to want to record.
Yeah. I would say, like, when you're first starting, take advantage of, like, nobody's gonna be listening to you when you first start. Like, you're gonna start with 0 listeners, 1 listener, 2 listeners, like, and remember that those listeners, they matter too. And like, if they're gonna show up for you, show up for them, I think. And it's like, if they're gonna give you a download, like, they're gonna give you money even. Like, it's like, show up for them, and basically, like, don't fall into trying to talk about what everyone else is talking about. Like, try to carve out a particular way to talk about the things. I would say stay true to yourself as well. Like, if you're not feeling something, like, don't be afraid to, express a negative opinion about something. Don't be afraid to express a positive opinion about something, because like some of the most fun times, like, on One Nation Radio have been for me talking about things I love in wrestling, and like remembering, like, yo, I'm going to have this piece of audio that's going to document how I felt about this, and I'll be able to just, 6 months from now on a random Tuesday, I'll be like, I wonder what I thought of this, and then, oh, I got a clip I can pull up, and then I get to see how I felt about it in real time, whatever. I think it's just a cool kind of catalog of my personal, like, wrestling fanhood. And just like, remember, like, the internet, like, gives you the ability to connect with the world. So you take yourself as serious as you want to take yourself as well. Like, if you want to do this shit like straight lace, and like you don't want to, like, you want to be dead serious and professional about it, you want to show up with a suit like Andrew Bidala does or whatever, do it. Like, if you want to be someone like me and James, like, keep this shit like, casual, funny, stuff like that, do it. Like, you can only be yourself. Like, there's no reason in trying to, listen to somebody else's stuff and jack their whole style. So, like, that's what I would say. Like, be original, and then, like, if the audience is showing up for you, don't be discouraged at the beginning, because, like, you're going to start somewhere.
Yeah. And I would say try to find yourself a structure that works for yourself, that you can be consistent with, because, like, there's always going to be new stories and things that you haven't necessarily, like, delved into before, and you're going to try to figure out how to talk about it. And if you have a structure for, like, how to format the show and where to place things or how you want to talk about things, it can make it easier.
Yeah, try to get next to people that are kind of like-minded or kind of at the same point in the journey as you, or even like people that you see as like way out there, unreachable, whatever. Like they're humans just like you. Talk to them, ask for different advice. Like don't just take our advice. Listen to other people's advice too. And I think One Nation Radio grew when we started, talking with people like Sierra, when we started, bringing Josh on the show, like when we started bringing Simon on the show, and just like different people to come, Jeremy, come on the show. Yeah. And it was just like, all right, we got all these people, and there's like a little Chad Matthews, a good friend of mine. So I talked to him the other day or whatever. He was somebody I think, when it comes to the audio and the writing, there was like a synergy there. So like there was a certain tone he was able to achieve. So you bring little people, different people into your world too. You kind of create like a network kind of, and it ended up turning into one. So
yeah.
Let's see. In his last question, he said, with all the bullshit in America right now and in general, how are y'all two doing mentally? Man,
I think we touched on that earlier in the show, right?
A little bit. I'm supposed to test for my orange belt tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. But who knows if I'm gonna be able to do it, because who knows if dojo would be open with the snow and shit. I don't know.
I was going to say something crazy as far as elements in like the mysticism of the martial arts. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. That can venture into something problematic. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm just going to just move on from that. As far as my mental health or whatever else, like I'm getting back into doing CrossFit a little bit. Like I actually doing CrossFit tomorrow. I'm going to CrossFit West Chase in Largo. Their Largo location. I'm dropping there. I'm gonna do the 6 p.m. class, whatever else, with two of my friends from the boot camp I go to, because they've all talked about like they want to do CrossFit in the past, and like they're hesitant about it. I'm like, you do boot camp gym, like there's a lot of carryover. And some days it's gonna be harder at the boot camp than it is at CrossFit. You're overthinking it. Like you think you might need some CrossFit games workout. It's like, no, they're not gonna ask you to do 100 unbroken
boxer jumps,
like single leg air squats. That's not happening. They're not gonna, no. They're not about to ask you to pull a yoke, a 340 or 500 pound yoke carry 100 feet. Like it's not a thing. So yeah, like, that's kind of the stuff I'm doing right now. It's kind of just like, I'm trying to do things fitness wise this year. Like, right, I actually started lifting with a barbell, started this year or the end of last year to start a program for it. I haven't lifted weights like barbell since 2014. So I missed it, like stuff like that. I'm just trying to do things fitness wise, switch some stuff up. I'm just going to the boot camp less. But just
did
as far as like
300? I didn't ask. Did you ever get to 300 last year?
Oh yeah, I did. That was so I never talked about this on the show, but at the boot camp that I go to, it's open 6 days a week. So in a year, there's 311, 312 days you possibly go to, and not just past year, but 2023, like I was dead set on getting like the Bret Hart 300 thing, right? I guess maybe I am. Maybe I'm more like CM Punk and FTR than I like to admit. But yeah, I was dead set on like this 300 number, and like I ended up catching COVID at the end of in like October of 2023, and I ended up missing it by like, I think I got I was 292, ended up missing 10 days because of COVID. So I would have got it. Keep in mind, like it's also like I missed days because like I was coming back from Japan, right? So like I would have made it. So I was dead set on 2024. I was going to do it. I ended up at 308 days. So yeah, I did that. So now that I've done with that, I was like, all right, I'm now done with this stupid number that I've obsessed with for 2 years, and now I can just kind of just go do the boot camp thing when I want, and I'll do more of the stuff that I want to do now that I've kind of done that thing already. So yeah, that's kind of where I am now. But like um, but yeah, that's kind of how I'm handling. Like I'm just kind of more or less like um just like worrying about like trying to carve out what I want to do with fitness. I haven't really thought about like what I'm gonna do with like I guess my dieting thing. Like I haven't really changed much. But yeah, just that's kind of where I'm at right now so far this year. On a few other things, but I'm not ready to talk about that to y'all. It's more of the stuff that I would talk to Rich. But yeah, whenever something comes up, I'll let y'all know if y'all ask another question like this in the next mailbag.
Telling you, James about to pull his family out on me.
No. It's so fun. It's so funny. There are so many people that like are always like James is like very private and I don't know X, Y, or Z about James. I'm like, well, you didn't ask. Like it ain't that it ain't that I'm mysterious. That like I don't really tell people shit unless they ask me, and like you ain't asked, so I ain't tell.
One other thing about starting a podcast, if your podcast gets to any level of notoriety, be prepared for people in wrestling to hear it. So, Sam Brown, host of the Match Guide podcast, had Tunnel Talk on recently. He says Goku or Vegeta.
Vegeta. You've heard it for you fuck with me. Okay, all right. Yeah, so
Sam, I got no idea on this one, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Vegeta guy. Like, you ever watch Ninja Turtles? You probably didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's kind of like saying Leonardo or Raphael. It's kind of that kind of thing. Like the made to be born leader guy that's straight laced and does everything the right way, or the guy with edge to him that you like. That's like the anti-hero kind of. That's kind of what it is. Vegeta's the anti-hero. Goku's is the Hogan Cena person.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Most people are Vegeta people, obviously, because that's what you're meant to like the guy. Like he has no problem. He was evil. He turns to a good guy. He's on the good guy teams. He goes about protecting and saving the earth with means where like he'll kill people with if he needs to with no qualms about it. Where Goku's like he would hurt a fly. So you think he's a pussy, but it's like it's one of those like yeah.
So
Vegeta, of course.
Is Tanahashi and Naito is what this is? Like I don't.
Kind of. I mean that's a common trope in storytelling. Like characters, like you have like two protagonists or whatever, or a protagonist, and then like another person that also has the same objective, but like will go about it in a different way. Like yeah.
Sam says, what has been your favorite year of wrestling? For me, it's hard to go past 2018, New Japan Pro Wrestling, The Elite, and some WWE, and also 2021 AEW and some New Japan, but I'm curious what yours are. I would say for me, 2018 is up there for sure. And between 18 and 19, I got to travel a lot around. I've pretty much seen every great wrestler of this era in person. It really kind of stumps me to think who I haven't seen at this point. But a lot of that like coincides with the traveling. When the world shut down, obviously a lot of that slowed up. But 2021 was pretty great as well. But 2017 and 18, New Japan are my years, I'd say.
For me, I'd probably say for my just general fandom, like most people that I think are going to like be, people that I've cared about the most and even going forward in the future, and first time I've ever seen them. I'm probably going to say like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I think like with what you had in AEW and Stardom was special. I don't think I've ever cared about two promotions or two brands of pro wrestling as much at that time, or as far as like enjoying what they were doing on a week to week basis as those two companies were doing. And then you still had Osprey and Okada and Ishii and Shingo in New Japan. They were killing it still. And yeah, so and then you still had like people like Gunther going fucking ape shit from once a year, twice a year in the WWE. So like, yeah, I had a blast. Like I enjoyed that year so much that I decided to take my ass to Japan. And and what you said about like you've seen everybody that you wanted to see. Like I think I've seen everybody I've wanted to see from the last decade of pro wrestling, except for maybe like
I haven't seen Shuri.
People that come to mind. I've been lucky enough to have seen Shuri. So the two that immediately come to mind for me would be I didn't see Takumi Iroha, I didn't see Takeshita when I was in Japan. Everybody else I wanted to see, I saw.
Yep. Yeah, because
so
that's like that's kind of an important thing to me. Like that, I at some point or another, like I go to a show and see every great wrestler of this era, as many of them I can see or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen Tanahashi like a handful of times. So I'm like, all right, if I don't
right,
make it to Japan,
you seen right, like like Ishii, Naito, like you Shingo, you've seen all of them before.
Yep. Actually, have I? Yeah, I've seen Shingo. Yeah. Liger, got to see him.
Yeah, saw Liger too. Yeah.
Muto, like
yeah, we did see this.
Yeah, so like at least on the Japanese side.
Yeah.
And like Danielson, I've seen Kenny like more times than I can count. Swerve.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember the freaking that CEO pay-per-view in Daytona?
Yes.
That was like Ibushi and Kenny Omega versus Naito and Hiromu and like
at the height of the Golden Lovers. Yes.
Right, and then like in the match, like freaking Ibushi like scoops up Hiromu off of like the apron and German suplex around his fucking neck, and I thought he had broke his neck, and then like he breaks his neck like months later.
Yeah, it was like weeks later.
Okay, yeah, weeks later. There you go.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing. Yeah,
yeah,
Minoru Suzuki, like all these guys, like pretty much.
Yeah.
So, who else? Sam also says, who are the wrestlers most in need of a character alignment change at the moment? Jon Moxley.
Yeah, go back babyface, please. For the love of God. Yeah.
So I think somebody I think somebody in WWE, there needs to be a big turn somewhere. Like everything seems like it's been the same way for a while. I know Roman's a babyface now, but like there's far too many babyfaces, I feel like.
Well, I mean, Owens turned recently in the last few months.
Yeah.
So that'd be one. As far as a heel,
like I mean, but I don't consider Owens like a A+ level guy though. Like, because I feel like they have like basically there's got
to be champion.
Yeah, like there's one. It's like all right, there's Cody, Roman, there's Punk. And then it's like the people that, The Rock when he comes around. Do you want
Jey Uso?
Yeah. I feel like Jey Uso is like an A- or whatever, B+, something like that.
That's not. Look, you're not finna get it. You're not finna get away with calling Jey Uso a B+ player when that man is the top merch guy in the company right now. You can't get away with that. I know. I agree.
Are they going to book him?
Main eventer, but he's going to be a main eventer.
I was going to say, are they going to book him in the last match of WrestleMania? I know they've done it before. Are they going to book him on night 1 or night 2? Like, or is he going to be in the middle of the show? He's going to be in the middle.
I don't think he'll be in the middle of the show. I mean, I think they'll give him. I think they'll make him champion this year. I think he'll be one of the champions next or within the year. I really do.
So they got John Cena.
Will it go well? No. Will it go well in the ring? No. But that doesn't matter. That's not what this company's about.
because I
Tell
feel
me they don't care about great matches.
I feel like it's a big piece of the storytelling. Like, I know Triple H is just scratching to turn somebody heel. He's scratching because, like, between you got all these mega baby faces that are around. So, like, who's it gonna be? Like, and I'm looking at between Punk, Roman, and Cody. One of them's gonna turn. I don't know who.
It can easily be Punk. It can easily be Punk.
Brandon Candia says, "Who are your favorite wrestlers who can be both heel and face excellently?"
Bret Hart.
Yeah, he's great at it.
Look, again, me and FTR are more common than I like to think. Shawn Michaels, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got there. Great at both. Page, Adam Page.
Yeah.
Yep. Danielson.
I think Swerve is as well.
Well, yep. Swerve is too. Yep. Let's see who else we got. Oh, Side King said that James or Floyd because I'm doing the Bret Hart blazing.
Y'all might well be brothers, you know.
Oh man.
You know.
Nah, Floyd be telling me stuff, and I'd be like, "Why would you tell me this stuff?" He like, "I don't have no shame." I'm like, right, but I have shame for you. You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Jericho. Actually, Jericho's never really been a great face.
Yeah.
Never really been a great face. I don't think he's been a great face. Like, he could be an A+ heel, I feel like.
Okay. That's okay. Fair enough. Well, I think
I would say Kevin Owens.
I think Owens is a way better heel, though. I think he's also a good babyface, but like I think that like I don't think that I think he's kind of in Jericho thing. It was like he might be good at both, but he's way better at one than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
The Macho Man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a very good one.
I know people don't love Ric Flair as a babyface, but like I did.
He had great moments as a babyface.
I hate to say it, Hogan.
I was gonna leave Hogan alone because I hate. Look, bro, the matches fucking suck when he's a heel. The matches fucking suck.
They did fucking
they
suck.
Absolutely suck.
But man, I hated that motherfucker, bro. I hated him when I was a kid.
I mean, yeah. But if we're gonna go by that, we might as well say The Rock too. Then.
Yeah, The Rock's a great one, actually. Like, bro, when he was
like, because I was trying to think of. I was starting to think of like. Fills every marks out every checklist, like the matches, the promos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking of that, but like, yeah, Hogan was great at both. So was Rock. But like, I ain't trying to see no Rock heel matches at this stage of the game, and I ain't trying to see no Hogan heel matches at this stage of the game neither.
Yeah, bro. Hangman Page is almost like on a level by itself, like in a lot of this stuff.
I would say the Young Bucks, but this last heel run was stinky. But they had a great heel run before, so
yeah, they've been great heels before. Yeah,
right. Or my stinky, I mean stinky for their standards, not stinky for the rest of the tag world. I throw FTR on there. FTR, I mean,
I think they got
FTR have been great. I think they've been great heels and great baby faces. So you got that.
Briscoes.
I'm not as familiar, but
Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah,
bro. Yeah.
Rich. When you said Eddie, I thought you were going to say Guerrero because that's
another one too. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I thought you were gonna say Eddie Guerrero, and I was like, oh, Eddie Kingston. Yep, both of them, both Eddies.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's a good enough list right there.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Reflecting on this.
Hold on. Sorry. Will Ospreay.
Yeah. I mean, he's been a heel too. I remember, bro. I love his heel stuff. I know a lot of people don't like it. They find it abrasive and shit. But for me, that's just y'all don't like British people. Like, so.
Like,
I don't have that problem.
If you don't like, if you didn't like the United Kingdom stuff, okay, fine. Throw in the Repro stuff against Oku. He was great in the matches as a heel. And it's far less, and it's less of the United Kingdom stuff you might not like, but like it works. And like then as Bayface, yeah. So hell, if you just go by the stuff he was doing with Omega and AEW,
I'll say Kenny too.
Then.
Like Kenny's great too. So
I think Kenny's so much better. I think he has great Bayface stuff, but I think he's better. I think he's one of those things where it's like he's much better as same thing with Jericho. Like he's much better as a heel than a babyface, but. And then honestly, like, I think it might come down to like, all right, I think Kenny Omega in Japan, the answer is yes. Kenny Omega in America, no.
I mean, we got enough proof at this point, but motherfuckers will live and die with him, but they just don't. It just don't. There's something there.
Great heel in AEW. Great heel in AEW. Good babyface in AEW. In New Japan, he could do it all. And did it all.
Done it all.
Yeah.
So last question. We'll stop here. Reflecting on MLK Day.
I'm just glad. I'm just glad you didn't come out here with no jokey joke about like what about like when Rey Mysterio was on that bullshit. I was like, here you go.
Hill
Rey Mysterio in WCW.
In the video game? Oh, I mean...
No, Hill Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
in WCW. I thought you were going to hit me one of those. I fucking hate that shit.
That shit funny.
I want to... What the fuck wants to boo and root against Rey Mysterio Jr.?
They need to make that as a outfit in the video game for Rey. I'm trying to bring Rey out there with the horns, in the baggy pants, who, trying to get the one that wrestled Ric Flair, for the belt. The other Rey Mysterio wasn't getting no world title matches, in WCW. Psycho, Filthy Animals, Rey, Last one comes from Doc. He says, reflecting on MLK Day, why does it seem like pro wrestling is still behind the times as far as having top black wrestlers as world champion in the biggest program? Like, representation matters, but pro wrestling still feels like you want a Jacob on top. God damn it. Please. God damn it, Doc. Please, James and Rich, teach these devils. God damn it. Well, the pro wrestling decision makers.
We're not about to just ignore the Nation of Islam stuff in there, are we? We're supposed to just ignore that and just continue to answer and pretend like you don't know what the fuck he just said to us.
I was about to no sell,
I'm acknowledging that. Then we can move on.
Man, say Yakubian, God damn it.
Rich, the Yakubian silks.
Yakubian foods.
Oh my god.
I would say the pro wrestling decision makers think the crowds are largely as racist as them in a lot of cases.
Yep.
Or they just look at the status quo, have trouble moving from it, and always need additional data to prove otherwise. Like if all wrestlers were the color tan, right? like they were just a nondescript color that whatever, say a utopian society, right? That would never happen. But they would not need as much information on black people that they think they would. WWE is obviously going through very public struggles right now that people try to act like is not happening. And, you know, AEW has like, it's like they get one, you know, they go deep and then they, you know, put 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And, you know, there's more work to be done. Hobbs, you know, got a slight elevation. Swerve and Ricochet getting a big platform in Atlanta, and, you know, presumably Revolution, if that's the match. Swerve was the world champion last year.
Yeah. Rich, on the show we just covered, right, there was a segment where they did, I forgot what order, but it was like, all right, so they did a Mercedes promo or vignette about all her championships and belts, and now she's, you know, this person is making a star that's doing all this stuff for media runs, whatever else. Then they did the tag match, or sorry, that trios match where it's it's Private Party and Briscoe and Mark Briscoe versus Hurt Business. And then like next thing after that was like, or around that same time, or in that same run of back to back was like the Ricochet and Swerve stuff. And then the main event was Hobbs in the main event. And the main event was the gauntlet that had Willow in it. Like, so it was, I mean, there was a lot of black people on the show. It said you don't even think about it at this point with AEW. Because it's just like, yeah, black people wrestle on this show.
Yeah. So like,
now as far as them being as far as all of being top spots, that's a different discussion. But like, there absolutely is representation in AEW for black wrestlers.
Yeah. The top spots are, so like, I think in any promotion, the top spots are ruled by politicking, you know, to a certain, you know, extent. And it's like, whether a specific agenda is being carried out, like, it's almost like you gotta, like, if you sneak in the perfect scenario, it's roses or whatever, but how many perfect scenarios are going to come along? It's very rare. So, I think being black makes it anything necessarily easier. I do not, but
no, it don't make it easier.
Yeah, so it's like, just got to keep getting over and over and keep proving it again and again and again.
Right. You gotta keep getting over. Not you gotta stay over. You gotta keep getting over. Yep. That's an appropriate way to put it. Yeah.
Yep. All right, man. Let's wrap it up here, man.
All right. Thanks for watching the show or listening to the show. If you are watching the stream, be sure to go to the show notes on the podcast. When the podcast is released, go to the red circle link and click on that link, and you can donate there. You can also go check out the Shop Tees to check out the Team USA Dream Team edition of One Nation Radio t-shirts that we have. So we also have the simple black and silver pyramids. I almost said pyramid scheme. Pyramid shirt. And be sure to check out those shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, MWE Adventure, All Things Elite, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast, the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Show. Sorry, and Tunnel Talk. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance. But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.